depending on how this video goes, I'll either be very serious and down-to-earth in terms of rants or whatever, or I'll be very cynical and sarcastic in a very Australian manner, because I've been seeing this a lot around recently, and I may or may not be under the evil influence of the alcohols, but I'm cynical and bored, and I've been seeing this around a lot, so I figured I might as well talk about it. Well, actually, this has been around for fucking years now, but whatever. Let's talk about the sequel boot remakes that happen every 5 or 6 years now because Hollywood. It started with Transformers with Michael Bay. Or at least that's when the phenomenon started, with everybody going, "You ruined my childhood, Hollywood. I am very angry with you. I will destroy you with my internet videos." Rah. That's how it started. Now, I really could give a fuck less about the 80s nostalgia thing, because I wasn't born then. I was born in the 90s, and as a result, I grew up with, 2000 stuff, which was too dark and edgy for people of today's generation, what with their internet meme culture and their YouTubes and GIFs, whatever the fuck they're called. So basically, I couldn't care less about childhood-ruining nostalgia. But of course, that's why I never made a video about it beforehand. Until now, because something changed today. And it was the fact that I could give a fuck slightly. Okay, but being serious for a brief moment, I really have to question why people buy into this. And what I mean by that is why people buy into, reboots, remakes, cash-in sequels, everything that they pretty much buy into purely because they know they're gonna dislike it. I mean, they see trailers, they've seen, the marketing for it, and they know right off the bat that they're probably not gonna like it very much. And you wanna know the weird thing? They go anyway. They see these movies, they play these video games or whatever the fuck, and then they go onto the YouTubes or whatever the fuck else is, go, "Hey guys, welcome to my vlog. Be sure to subscribe to my Patreon where you can donate me $5 for doing nothing," and all that kind of garbage, and then they proceed to complain about every single flaw of the movie, and how it pales in comparison to the original, or is just generally not a very good movie, / game, / whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now then, in the year 2007, or 2008, or 2009, maybe even 2010, but not after 2011, because that's the cutoff point. That's around about the point where I kinda saw the pattern and I was thinking, why do they see these? And then it hit me. You see, in this generation of mimetic culture where all of us are entwined into the grand machine that is the Matrix, I mean real life, I've come to learn a very important truth. The truth of the matter is, actually, no, fucking, I'm not even gonna bother with this conspiracy shit, because it really isn't, because it's kind of fucking obvious, and honestly, there really is no point in trying to act as if I'm some kind of grand messiah, like I'm the real Neo, I'm a revolutionary fucking... Because really, I think to anybody with a brain higher than fucking grapefruits, it's quite obvious the fact that these people, like Hollywood and the people themselves, are reliant on these movies. Because fans who are fans of the 80s shit, because apparently that was cool, they love this stuff, because it means that they get to rage on the new generation. For not being original. For being a mock nostalgia of the 80s, because geek culture is, so fucking cool, man. Even though geeks aren't cool, man, they fucking suck. But the thing of it is that they need it to rage on. They need the new generation to screw their childhood up. To feed them rage. But the point of the matter is, they need to rage on these movies so that they can get their other little 80s buddies to agree with them. And them being the Neo of the thing, it allows them to connect. It allows them to spread the disease, as the prophets call it. And soon, everybody knows about it. Everybody sees the magic, or the necromancy, I don't know what the fuck. I never played World of Dungeons and the Apocalypse. But the point is, I get it. They understand the hatred, and they spread it to their friends, saying, "Oh, hey, have you seen the new fucking screw attack wannabe fat fucking millennial bitch that made this video? It's pretty cool, man. You should probably check it out." And they do. And then they just completely, and I mean completely, get on board with it, even though they probably would have known that the thing was bad from the get-go. I'm not making sense because I might be slightly alcohol influenced, but trust me, in my rambling state it makes perfect sense. The fact of the matter is that it really aggravates me that people continue to feed into this endless cycle, and I think what sparked all this off was really for the fact that it's primarily 80s based, or primarily centered around the stuff that the millennial generation grew up with, you know, namely Transformers, like Gem and the fucking Holograms, and as of recently, Ghostbusters, which sparked, you know, controversy because bullshit issues which don't make any fucking sense. And honestly, I think why this inspired it is because it's just so... how can I put this? It's so silicon and fake, man. Like, I mean, it's... like, the way I can see it with Hollywood is that they know that these people will rant about them, and they know that they have an audience that will listen to them siphon their hatred on their products, and they know that. So what they're going to do is that they're going to intentionally do this, you know, regardless of whether or not the film is actually good in its own rights, rather than just being a straight-up adaptation. And then they're going to, whether intentionally or unintentionally, set it out, the people will hate it, then they'll get their other little buddies to hate it more, and then they'll talk about it and coalesce buzz. And as the old saying goes, any publicity is good publicity, and then that movie is secured in infamy, or fame, or whatever the fuck. And that annoys me, because, you know, there are probably, like, genuinely creative and cool shit coming out this generation, but it's not, because geek culture is like, well, look at these comics I grew up with in the 80s and 90s, man! And I think the same thing really goes for, like, video games and anime or manga, whatever's your fucking poison, really. And, you know, that's what Hollywood does. They see all this, like, books and games and comics and the mangy mangas, and they're like, money! Like fucking Emperor Palpatine and fucking Star Wars going, good, let the hate flow through you. Because they know that if they get a scriptwriter who knows absolutely jack shit about the source material, or if they do have fans of the material, but they intentionally screw it up just to have their little paw prints all over the fucking material, you know, Christoph Gans and the guys who made the fucking Doom movie, they know for a fucking fact that these people will spread it to everyone else. You know, and they intentionally do this just to get buzz, and, you know, whether it's like the most ingenious fucking plan ever, it works, and that's what pisses me off, why people feed into this. And you know people feed into this, because it's always the same, you know, fat fucking millennial generation people who stuff their gobs with fucking candy, and, you know, just talk about nostalgic shit because, you know, that's the stuff that they can never let go for some fucking reason. They'll do it because they know it works, and it's a system that is, like, self-sufficient. It's like the Matrix, you know? Which is why it annoys me, because it's just profiting off people's childhoods, who in turn will profit off the remaking of their childhood. It's like cycling shit over and over again, you know, from the arse, and it goes like... I know that's a very disgusting metaphor, but that's honestly how I see it. It's just... And the thing that saddens me about geek culture most of all is that it's just going to keep happening, because there are people that do have franchises they genuinely care about, and... you know, Hollywood's going to continue making these movies, and they're never going to realize the fact that, you know, they're just feeding into the bullshit, you know, blah, 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 blah. Yes, perpetually, if I can dumb it down like a caveman, yo, to the most basic level that even your common fat fuck millennial sitting on a camera who buys into this shit will listen to. Yes, this is basically a cycle of la 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 la. Yes, a cycle of la 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 la. Which really fucking saddens me, because, you know, there should be, like, some genuinely cool shit, man. Like, I mean, with this generation, like, one of the biggest reasons I hear for people, like, or at the very least creative forces not getting their cool shit out there is either because, you know, they're not given the attention because these franchises have, like, brand recognition, or because they say, like, oh, yeah, well, we could do that, but, you know, these franchises are already established, which means we don't have to do any work. Don't you see? Don't you see that we can just take this? We don't have to do any actual story development, characters, or pretty much any themes or concepts. Instead, we can adapt. You wouldn't... Sorry, everybody, that was my landlord who was going to kill me because I ate a piece of cake once and that was actually pussy. Actually, I don't get any of that fucking shit. Anyway, I gotta finish it off, and I forgot completely where I was last time. Oh yeah, it was like, because Hollywood just steals things. I mean, borrows, adapts. Yes, adapts. That's the term for fucking plagiarism now. because they don't actually have to do any work if other people in the fucking 80s, or whatever, whenever it came out, the 1800s, came out, they basically just steal the concepts, just take bits and pieces of it, but then they say, oh, well, this looks all fairly original and already done before. Let's change character a little bit. Harry Mason, he was a guy and a dad, but dads can't love children. A woman, that's so good. That's Hollywood genius! And you know, I consider myself a proprietor of cool shit, man. Like, a lot of people tend to call edgy things terrible because, you know, they push concepts further than they need to go. But speaking quite serious for a moment, and by that I mean somewhat sarcastic, or cynical, we need more cool shit, man. That's what the 2000s had. The 2000s had cool shit, man. Even the 90s, actually, another thing about it. And the 80s did too, but until the 2010s decided to ruin it with, you know, the fucking mimetic culture. Had to treat everything as a fucking joke. There's no room for cool shit anymore. Basically, you have to say, oh, look at this, I'm a meme. Fuck you. You know, you people bitch about fucking, you know, early 2000s Matrix stuff? Fuck you, man. Guns, new metal, and fucking the government in, like, the computer simulations. You know, Shadow the Hedgehog, oh, that's too edgy, it should be cartoony, and fuck you, man. Shadow gets a machine gun, cocks look like a shotgun, even though that doesn't make any magical fucking sense. Edge, metal music, fuck. You know, that's cool shit, man. And cool shit requires, like, it requires you to take yourself seriously, but also realize that you're doing cool shit, and that's why I'm a big proprietor of the Michael Bay-ish, I don't know, all that kind of shit, because it's fucking cool, man. He understands his audience, he doesn't give a fuck about storytelling or characters. Fucking cool shit. And raping 80s kids' childhoods. Because that's also what I've grown into recently. I've grown like a psychotic love for millennial fuckers getting pissed off because I enjoy their pain, I feed off it. As you can see, look at my eyes. You can tell that I enjoy feeding off their pain. Because I hate them. I hate them so much for what they do to feed the system. Yet at the same time, it feels good. It feels good watching them suffer, and I'm being quite legitimate when I say this. To get pissed off at a movie you already knew was going to be bad in the first place, you have to wake up and realize that you were the one giving them the permission to officially screw you over. It's like taking your cake and eating it too. For example, it's good. You see, that was actually concentrated 80s man fucking fat fuck millennial fuck rage conduced into cake. And I just ate it. I'm half cannibal now. Half corpse, half cannibal. If I was a band, I'd probably be called Cannibal Corpse. Holy fuck, I think that cake just did wonders to sober me up. The fact of the matter is, really, well, again, there's nothing ever truly original nowadays, but you know what, be a proprietor of cool shit, man. Like, I mean, stop, you know, create your own fucking storylines and, you know, movies and comics, mangy manga, or the anime waifu people, and just fucking go with it, man. Who gives a fuck how edgy it is? I mean, people like fucking Berserk, right? And that movie was just like, the symbolism, yet the edginess. Because we're otakus or whatever fucking shit. I don't know. Just fucking be a proprietor of cool shit. Like, no matter... Like, you know, it needs guns, it needs blood and gore and metal music, death metal preferably, and that's all you need. Man, fuck this 80s rip-off shit, which is like half the 80s, but it cuts out the good part and only keeps the cheesy shit because people are fucking pussies and need to die. This might not make any sense to you, but if you're half drunk and as cynical as I am and was raised on a steady diet of nu metal and edgy shit as a kid, then you'll understand completely. Extreme outro, fuck. I don't give a fuck. I guess the last thing I can do to close off is, here. Have some conduced, you know, 80s man-child millennial fuck conduced rage cake. Nom 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 nom. Oh. Oh, so good.